Come on now. This is the Business and Economic Forum where we discuss nothing but business and economics. So, and this is yet another edition of the show. Our topic today is on something which is in continuation of our Business and Investment Forum, or our investments topic. So today we're going to be looking at a very, very important topic. Has Liberia been given a fair chance for economic growth and development? I will let my panelists discuss or explain to you more on that. But I'm excited about this topic. I want to welcome from California, Mr. William King. Mr. King, welcome to Focus on Liberia.
Yes, sir. I'm very excited to be here today. Oh man, we're gonna have a good time today.
Mr. King is our regular panelist on the Business and Economic Forum, and we're glad to have you. He's an avid real estate entrepreneur and also a community leader. Mr. King, we're glad to have you.
Thank you, thank you. Good day, Dennis. Thank you.
And for the first time on the Business and Economic Forum, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for my man, Sando, the broker Karneh. Sando, welcome to Focus on Liberia.
Oh, Dennis, man, I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for the invite. William, thank you for having me. You know, this is needed. We do have to do this for our country, man. Everything is focused on Liberia, so I'm glad to be here to give some insight on the economy and what it takes to move our country forward.
Sando, we're glad to have you. You live right here in Metro Atlanta. I know you, and but just briefly, want you to say something about yourself and how you got involved or attracted to the Business and Economic Forum, and why you're here. What's your background, your expertise, and what you bring to the table?
Okay, thank you, Dennis. Again, my name is Sando Karneh. I'm in financial services. I am a humanitarian, and basically, I'm anything Liberia. So I work for E-Trade Financial, been in the financial services industry for over 15 years. I am a consultant manager with E-Trade Financial Services, and I actually assist companies to efficiently administer their equity compensation. I'm also the co-founder and executive director of my organization, Help Educate and Assist Lives. We have been existing since 2014, and our main mission is to assist orphans and orphanages in Liberia. The reason why I got attracted to focus on Liberia again is it is what it is. Everything that's focused on Liberia, as long as it's positive and is geared to move the country in a positive light, especially in the private sector, financial services, and the economy. I'm all down for that. So, you know, the little I can give, you know, I'm willing and happy to be here.
Thank you so much, Sando, and we're glad to have you. We're excited about your background and what you bring to the discussion. And so at this time, I want to turn it over to Mr. William King, who's going to introduce our topic tonight, and then he will be driving the show. William, it's all yours. All right, William, let me come back to you, William. You were muted for some time. Okay, William, I still can hear you. We still can hear William.
How is it now? Can you hear me, Dennis? How's my sound now?
All right, William, we got you there. What are we talking about today and why is it important? Let our audience know.
Definitely. Well, good afternoon, everyone. For the folks who are joining us from the East Coast, West Coast, Liberia, nationwide, once again, we're very happy to that you could tune in. This is the Economic Forum. Before I get into the topic today, I want to have a couple of disclaimers real quick. Number one, this is not a political party agenda. We are not speaking about any political party. We look at the economy, and this forum is about a belief that government is one piece. It's definitely important for our economy, but this is not a forum to promote or attack any political party. The other thing I want to bring up also is that, for a disclaimer, is that we are not your financial advisor. And so we are not encouraging anyone or telling anyone to go and invest in Liberia. We are here expressing our own personal opinion about the economic situations in Liberia and how we can move it forward. And so we advise everyone, if you plan on making an investment, to please speak to your professional financial advisor. This is not the place where we're giving you that type of advice. With that being said, our topic today is Liberia. Is Liberia given a fair economic chance by Liberians and by the international community to succeed? That's what we're talking about. In a couple of countries we're going to be using maybe as a comparative analysis is Ghana and also Argentina. And some of you may say, well, why are you going all the way to Argentina and so forth? Well, as you join in the discussion and as that piques your interest, you will begin to see something very interesting about Argentina and Ghana and also Liberia. And you will see there's some commonalities that we share. However, the aid and the international investment that's flowing and that's going to those countries might be a little bit different than what we're seeing in Liberia. So that's our topic, and you may ask, well, how and why did you think about that? Why did you come up with that? Well, I was at a community gathering. There was a homegoing celebration, and we got into all things talking Liberia. And it's interesting because there's a lot of mixed beliefs. Some folks are Liberians, say, yes, invest in Liberia, while others are saying, no, I wouldn't invest a penny, not a dime. Nothing in Liberia right now is not a good place to invest. Don't put your money there. Don't do anything there, and so forth. And so it's interesting that the narrative, maybe we're speaking out of two sides of our mouth, because we know the country needs investment, but when it comes where the rubber hits the road, are Liberians ourselves, are we really sold on the idea that Liberia is a good place? Yes or no? And if so, or if not, can you please compare Liberia to another country, be it Ghana or Argentina or somewhere else? And let's see if we are indeed so far behind, or we just haven't been given a fair chance. Thank you, Dennis. Okay. Sando, are you here? Is everyone here?
Thank you so much, William. Thank you for that brief introduction. And so we here at Focus on Liberia, we also want to give a disclaimer that any opinion or anything you hear on Focus on Liberia, it is not our position. It is purely, squarely the opinion of our guests, our panelists. All right. So with that said, we've been talking about investing in Liberia. So even before we go to the topic of today, what does it mean to invest in Liberia, and what are some of the examples of investing? That's why I want us to start even before we go into the topic of the day. Let me start with you, Sando. When we say invest in Liberia, what does that mean to the ordinary person like me?
I believe when one talks about investing in Liberia, it will depend on, first thing, who's the investor, what's the investor's interest, right? And what type of investment what type of investment that the investor wants to go into. I feel like Liberia is a virgin country right now, although we've been existing for what 200 almost 200 years now, almost 200 years, right? But I just still think based on the devastation and carnages that we have gone through, I feel that Liberia is actually a virgin nation, and they are still in the stage of rebuilding. So when it comes to investing in Liberia, I see an avenue for almost anything in Liberia, especially with the amount of land and water that we have in our country. So the avenue for investing in Liberia is so large that again is actually going to depend on who that investor is, right? What's the investor's risk factor, right? And also how the investor feels emotionally toward toward Liberia. But I feel that Liberia is a virgin country that investment is ideal for anybody to go into that country to invest. I mean, we have land. Agriculture is will be huge, right? Agriculture. We got large land, ocean, rivers, right? We talked about energy. Is energy can be a huge investment in Liberia. We have wind, we have sun. So so it will just depends on how us Liberians put our country out there to let investors and other people, especially in the diaspora, knows what that country is capable of.
Thank you. And if you want to add to that, or William, about investment and the different type of investment we can do in Liberia. You're muted, William.
He's still muted, I think.
All right, now you can go ahead. No, we can hear you. We cannot hear you, William.
Difficulties. Can you hear me?
Yeah, okay, we can hear you now. Oh, you are muted again. You are muted, William. No.
How about now?
Okay.
Good?
Yeah. Go ahead.
It's much better now. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So what I wanted to ask Sando is when you talk about investment opportunities, what type of investors do you have in mind? Are they your mom and pop investors that you're talking about? Are they corporations? Who exactly is doing the investment?
William, is that a question for me?
Yeah.
Oh, again, as I said, Liberia is a virgin nation, and I always go with this: charity begins at home, right? So it's the same thing.
Yeah.
If you as a Liberian, if you are not comfortable about taking the trail, right, blazing the trail to take advantage of of your country, right, to try to start investing in your country, be it one person, two person, be it a small investment project, right? But
Yeah.
charity starts at home. If we as Liberians come together and start to invest in the little investment that we put in the country, right? If we multiply that by a subset of groups that are investing, right,
Correct.
in the country, other people from other nations will actually see that, okay, you know what? They are from the country, they live in the diaspora. If they can even start a mom and pop business and they are multiplying it, right? That actually focusing on the private sector, right? Even because even if you're hiring one or two persons, you still putting a dent in the unemployment, right? So
Right, right.
it charity starts at home, right? But again, I always tell Liberians though, most Liberian wants to do with a market investing, right? They take the 10, 15, $20,000 and take it to Liberia. And then when they go to Liberia, they realize that real investing or real business is not 15, $20,000 because right, you're going to do with a market and your
So are
return
you
on
saying the
investment.
Liberian is not experienced? Are you saying that the Liberian person? Are you saying that that 20,000 and 30,000 that somebody got up from here and it went back home and say I want to start a business? So are you saying that they're not experienced? Maybe
No,
they are. Maybe they're not experienced.
no, I'm not saying that they are not experienced, right? And
Hmm.
for me, this is my own opinion, right? I just feel
Yeah.
most Liberians, especially in the diaspora, just listen to people in Liberia or listen to people who visit Liberia and say, you know what, man, I think if you go to do this, you will make money. Oh, you know what? You just start with 15, 20,000 and you're gonna make money. Because I have experienced it, right? But most Liberian are not thinking forward to say, you know what, I have to go to Liberia, I have to look at the market, I have to look at the demographic of people, right? That if I take these goods, that will be able to purchase it. What is the buying power, right? And how is the market? How is that product? Is it a product that is that will become a monopoly when I go there, or is it a product that is already listed on the market that basically is just going to be added to the an additional number added to the market, which will make my business flutter, right? So all those things, I think Liberians have having come together to really put business ideas and strategies together, even with the 15, 20,000 to be able to go and impact, and get a better returns on the investment. So I'm not saying that, they are not experienced, but also I'm saying that they are not experienced, if you got the drift, right? I'm not saying that they're not
Yeah.
experienced, but they are also not experienced, right? Because even if it's $5 you're investing in, you got to go into a business with strategy. You have to know the market. You have to know the product. You have to know where you're going to buy your consumers. You have to know that what they need, what they want, right? So all that has to come into play, even with $2 if you're going to invest in it. So, and I feel, and that's the reason why I love this forum, right? Because this forum gives um, us Liberian the opportunity for us to put heads together to see the best way how we can take Liberia forward, right? Into different investments like insurance, because I think like day before yesterday there was Nelson a carpet in insurance. I know we have talked about energy. So these are the things. These are seeds that we are planting into Liberians who are having the mindset to invest in Liberia, right? Because as far as I am concerned, Liberia does not have any conglomerate. The only conglomerate that I knew that Liberia had was Maserati Group of Companies. Other than that, I haven't really seen a real good Liberian business who will be like, you know what, they are employing over 1,000 Liberians. I haven't seen it. And I just think because Liberians are not coming together
Yeah.
as the other nationalities to actually impact the private sector in Liberia.
Okay. Okay. So You just brought up something. You just said something. You said the other nationalities, right?
William,
So, yes.
can you change your audio is very bad. Is there a way you can you can talk to that? You can see if you can do better with the audio.
Yeah. Can you?
You are using can you call from the application?
Yes. Hold on one second. I'm going to hang up on this line.
Yeah.
Hold on.
All right. So Sando, as you were saying, you know.
Okay, how's the sound? Good?
Yeah, that's good now.
Okay, well, Sando, when you say that as other nationalities supporting, so the question is, if we look at Ghana, and you know, it's just going to take us a second for everybody that's here. We want to kind of lay this premise real well, so just bear with us. So when you look at Ghana, are Ghanaians the primary folks who are really putting in a lot of money into Ghana? Are they the ones that are putting in a significant amount of money? Ghanaians themselves, Ghanaians from diaspora and everything like that, are they putting in more money in that country than we Liberians?
Yes, I would say, and I was privileged to actually live in Ghana, and I was privileged to actually work with a very like good businessman in Ghana. I was privileged to actually have a relationship with Azuma Nelson, right, and his team that manage him. Okay, so these guys were two friends went to Europe. Okay, went to Europe,
Yeah.
went to hustle, just like how we are here in America. Those guys stay in one bedroom apartment, right? As they were working in Europe, putting the resources together, banking the money, living way below their means, right? When they actually got enough money, not enough money, but when they actually got money based on what they have, how they have started the market, right? When they really got enough money and they started the market, and basically he told me his story. They went to Ghana. At the particular time they started the business, there was no one doing carpet cleaning business, right? There were no Ghanaian bringing in like carpets and tiles and you know flow goods, right? So they went, started the market, right? And one of the guys was a real good salesman and a real good businessman, right? The other guy was a hustler. He was like knows how to get it, right? So when they decided to go back to Ghana, they were not arguing as to who's going to go first. Their goal was who has the skill, right, and the ability to actually push their agenda. So
right, got it.
Exactly. So
Got it.
And basically, again, I said charity begins at home. If you go to Ghana, you will see how entrepreneurship is really the breadwinner of the economy.
Exactly. Now, I want to add something there, and I want us to look at numbers, okay? I want to add something that I want to look at numbers. So one of the things, just where the rubber hits the road, I want people to really understand this, is that no matter how good your peanuts are, your grumpy, no matter how good they taste, no matter how good they are, at the end of the day, you need buyers. You need buyers, right? So you can have the best grumpy, but you need buyers. So for Liberia, the question is our economy shrinking to where now we have limited buyers? Because no matter how good your products is, you have limited buyers. You have limited buyers. So I wanted us to take a look at some numbers, and I'm going to share my screen real quick so that we can take a look at some numbers, okay? All right. So, Sando, can you see my screen?
Yeah, it's coming. Yes, sir.
It's coming.
Yes, sir.
Dennis,
I see
can
it.
you see it?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Okay. So these are foreign aids. Okay, this is the foreign aid support we've kind of gotten from. I looked at this from 2000, from the year 2000. So Sando provided me some good data. This is aid. This is the type of aid, basically in 2000, of course. For those of us who, joining us a little bit, Liberia was going through a very rough patch. So I just looked at from 2000 to now, and looked at the amount of money in terms of aid that we've received. And the reason why I say that is because we've experienced a huge infusion of NGO type of money into our economy. And that made us believe that we were doing good, that we're doing very well. But that money was not staying in the country. But let's take a look at some of this number. So look at Ghana. Ghana was about almost 7 billion. We are about $7.7 billion. If you look at the bottom number, okay, that is how much aid money was coming in, was being poured in from the NGOs and foreign governments in terms of aid. Now, most people are looking at this saying, well, we receive a lot of hard cash. So I would like Sando speak about, is this really hard cash that our government or our people was receiving? Or was this money that was used to pay for professionals, a huge majority of it? So please, chime in.
Yeah, and again, I do not believe in aid, right? Because there's nothing called free. I believe that there's nothing called free. Anything that comes from an agency, from the diaspora, there's always some hidden agenda. There's the fine prints, right? Especially, I'm not going politics now, but especially for the US government, you know that when they are giving you aid, they're going to tag that with, oh, democracy, civil rights, human rights, and all that. But one of the main reasons that I dislike aid, one of the main reasons I dislike aid is the amount of cost that goes into administrative cost, right?
Yeah,
And
Sando,
yes.
let me stop you. Let me stop you right there, so we can take a step back, because
Okay.
I don't want us to put two things together. We got aid, we got investment. So let's
Yes.
take a step back for those of us who are allergic to money and who does investment. I believe is not the same as aid. So give us that foundation before we can even explain about that aid and what it does.
Okay. And I am going to break it down. I'm going to break it down because some of us went to private school, right? Some of us went to private school, right?
You trying to say your school better than mine?
No, I didn't say that. But I went to the best school in Liberia, St. Patrick's, baby.
Hey. Oh, okay.
But no, what I'm saying is, I'm trying to differentiate aid. I'm trying to differentiate aid and investment, right?
Yeah.
So when I can remember in St. Patrick's, my dad invested in my education, right? He went and paid my school fees for me to go to acquire this education. So he invested in me acquiring my education, right? But at the same time, though, I have some of my classmates, very good guys, right? Their family didn't have the opportunity for them to have the amount of money to invest in their education. So the brother of Holy Cross says, you know what? We can give you aid, but it still comes with responsibility, right? And I know my friends that were on scholarship in St. Patrick's, they were the ones cooking our food in the cafeteria and serving us. They were cleaning the building, right? So it's similar to investing in Liberia and the country receiving aid, okay? And for Liberia, though, one of the things that I look at Liberia, aid to Liberia, and I look at the investment to Ghana, the aid to Ghana and the aid to Liberia. And Liberia kind of tend to be like my friends who were given scholarship, right? So I look at administrative costs and other additional costs that went into that were deducted from the money, from the aid money. So just to let you know, $1 coming when an organization or a country says, I gave Liberia $1, right? That $1 does not go, the total $1 does not go to that project, right? So you may have 20 to 30% in administrative costs, right? Into technical assistance, right? So by the time that money hits the country and that project is done, probably for every dollar that's supposed to go to that project, you may be receiving 10 cents or 15 cents,
What?
right? 30–40%. Okay, so it's the same thing. So I pulled the numbers for Liberia, aid to Liberia from 1946. Okay, and William just show you the number from 2000 to 2019, right? If you look at that number, majority of that number for Liberia went to budgeting, to pay for budget, because our country fiscal policy, there's no system to control our fiscal policy. So can you imagine another country giving us money to actually pay the employees? So, and then people will come to say Liberia is a sovereign nation or we're independent. No. You cannot say you're sovereign, you cannot say you're independent when you cannot pay your own people. You have to beg for money.
But Sando and William too, we always look at that as good thing, because I remember when the European Union and other people, they took sector of the Liberian economy and they were paying the people, they were paying the salary of these people, and we all said that was good thing. In fact, and I'm not trying to be political, but what we said was, oh, this is good. The president has the contact, so she's able to bring in people to pay all this. So are you saying it's not a good thing? There's a cost associated?
Yes, there's always a cost associated with it, because guess what? You may see a great avenue for investing in a sector in the country, right? And that money that may be money allocated that you could use, right, from aid and grants that you do not have to pay for, but because it is stuck in that specific area, and then guess what? Those organizations are actually getting money by paying the people, because we may have professionals in Liberia to even do the job, but guess what? They will say a technical assistant. They will bring them, put them in Royal Hotel for $300 per night, give them a car costing $100,000, right? Which that organization could actually look in the Liberian sphere for professionals, even abroad or on the ground, and could do that same work cheaper than that. So what I'm saying is it's not always a good thing.
Yeah.
It's not always what we see. Basically.
Now, Dennis, on one side of the fence, to properly place this aid thing, let me tell you like this. for the people in Liberia who are there, and that little bit of money that they are getting, from the perspective of us, is we have to look at it as an advantage temporarily. Here's what I mean, is that these aid money was girdling, they were supporting our living for some people in Liberia. And that's very important, right? So yes, in essence, long term, you're like, okay, these people are here. Some money is coming in. The economy is maybe moving a little bit, but it's not moving in the sense that we're building this infrastructure for self-sustenance. This is not a self-sustenance. And it's kind of unrealistic for us as Liberians to expect that a country like the US will take their United States taxpayer dollars and they will employ other people to do the work, because these are taxpayers' dollars. So obviously they are going to employ a majority of their folks in there. Now,
Yes,
aid, to be quite fair, right? It is what it is. And yes, for our brothers and sisters on the ground in Liberia, and right, they're like, listen, hey, I'm getting zero money waiting on investment dollars, or I can get $400 for being a driver. The person who's at Royal Hotel, like, hey, you know what? Business is booming. I can get my $300. This is going on. That is going on. So yes, while all these things are getting paid, which is good, but the main question then is, this aid that we got, this aid money that we got, is it the same? Because with Liberians, we always look at aid money, grant money, as investments, and they're not.
Let me, Mansfield Roper say, is foreign aid can also be a form of investment. If the US
Yes, now let's get to that, Dennis. Let's get to that, because I think that's what this discussion is really about. Okay, let's get to that. When foreign aid comes, and I'm going to use this term, actually is when foreign dollars come in your country as a form of investment, it takes a whole different approach and it takes a whole different look. What happens, number one, is that if you solicit that investment, you are in control, meaning Liberia, we are in the driver's seat. And so we have more of a dictation of where that money is going in. Now, I want to say there's a very good silver line here. Investment that you dictate where you want the money to go is always the best. Now, the other one where a company tells you where they want to put the money in, that is not a form of investment. That it looks like investment, but it's really a form of aid or a grant that really ties you in. So we have to be very careful about that. So I want to bring something up that I want to show you what aid, what investment looks like if we are in the driver's seat. I want to show you, and I'm going to look at Ghana. Okay, I'm going to bring up Ghana. Can everybody see that screen?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Ghana gets $3 billion bonds. It gets bids more than 6 times the offering. So that means that Ghana said, we believe in our country, what we're doing here, and we want to sell bonds. We have resources, we have this and that. There's a lot of things we want to do for our people. We want to provide education, school, build roads. We want to do businesses and all this stuff. Now, this is what we're going to do. And if you're interested, Mr. Investor, you can buy a bond. Now, these bonds come from pension funds. It comes from people's retirement funds. Most people don't even know who their advisor is. That's irrelevant. So whether you like Ghana, you dislike Ghana, you have no say so in whether the financial advisor is placing your money at this level. So most of them went and they bought Ghana bonds, Euro bond, 3 billion. That is 3 billion. Now here we are as Liberia, contrast to that, we are looking for 10%. Remember, the government went and asked for 10% of 500 million. We're asking for that. And we can't get it. We can't get anything. Now look at Ghana, there's 6 times more. So this right here is where they control their economy. With this money, they're able to keep people, the teachers are keep getting paid, systems are running. When an investor comes, he sees that things are running and moving along, and he's encouraged to spend more. He doesn't ask them, hey, where did you get this money from? How are you paying it? X, Y, Z. All he knows is that he sees that this country is vibrant and they're making a move. Now, the question is, for Liberians, have we ever, or are we getting a fair shot if we're not in this market? That's the question. If there's a caller can ask, if a caller is saying that no one will ever lend money to Liberia, Liberia is broke, is worthless, it's there's major issues with it. So please, let's open this, because look at this, 6 times more oversubscribed.
Yeah, William, I want to talk to that, right? And again, it goes back to aid, right? So if I am an investor, right, and I see that other countries are giving you money to pay your employees, to run the house, your Congress, right? To run your Congress, pay the employees, but guess what? You are not investing. You barely invest into education, healthcare, right? And basically, for an investor needs a country that have educated people that are healthy for them to be able to do the work, right? So Ghana is investing in that. Ghana is not taking money again from aid to pay teachers, to pay government employees, to even send the members from the House and Senate to go for training. Agencies are paying for that. So what sound investor, especially in a country that does not have a large market? The Liberian economy is not large, right? So you 4 million people. So if I'm an investor and I'm going to invest in Ghana that got 20 million people, my rate of return over there is higher, right? And I see Ghana is not depending on my money to actually invest in the government. So that is the issue, and that is the main reason that's why when I went to do the research on aid, that's what really puzzled me. That although the administrative cost from these organizations was there, but none of that was geared toward the government budget.
But Sando, Liberia is a unique situation. We're coming out of war, right?
Yeah, but Dennis, you know that Ghana,
Dennis said war? Okay,
yeah,
Dennis, I got something for you. You will see.
Listen, but I went through Dennis, you know that Ghanaians came to Liberia in the 80s, right? When the economy was bad, when the inflation was high, right?
Right.
You know that and I tell you, the data that I have, we went from 1952. So even during that time, when Liberia was vibrant, Ghana still didn't do it. So I think again, aid is a good thing when the money after the administrative cost is going to the appropriate projects, right? That's good. If it's going to healthcare and we got a better hospital, but Look at that. It's $6 billion went to Liberia. And we really do not, we do not even have a DNA center.
So you're you're saying the aid is good, but it depends on where we as
Leadership.
a country, where we
Yes,
direct that aid money to go.
exactly. And then secondly, the thing about aid money, I feel it puts it stops leadership from seeing the potential of the country, right? Because we going out and begging for money, and the things to give us money is right in our face. Okay, it's right in our face. But because our mind is, look at Liberia, even if Liberia if Liberia does a hand pump, the government does a hand pump, you will see a big sample in collaboration with our international partner, UNDP or USAID. Even if they carry a barrel and pin a barrel and give it to someone for water, for rainwater to drop in it, you will see with a partner. So sometimes things needs to happen for the country to be able to open their eyes and say that, you know what we are begging for, it looks like we have the resources for us to be able to do that.
But Sando,
Yes.
Sando, are we Liberia? And I want to play devil's advocate here. I want to play devil's advocate here, Dennis. Right? So, are we ready? Are we ready to go out and get it on our own? Are we ready? Is it that our people are corrupt? The country has no money. I mean, why can't we do that? Are we? Is Ghana? Yes, we're only 4 million people. Fair, but is Ghana more competent than Liberians? Are we? And is Argentina more competent than Liberia? Because Argentina, if you guys haven't been following, they are defaulting on a $59 billion bond.
Yeah.
Their inflation is over 225%. So, and IMF, the current president is blaming IMF. By the way, IMF bailed them out with that almost $60 billion bond. IMF did it, and now he's turned around and he's blaming IMF. So the IMF that we have in our country right now, they're not giving us any access to any bonds, but yet they turn around and they give $60 billion to Argentina and they defaulted, and they've defaulted almost 8 times from the beginning of this millennium, almost 8 times. 8 times.
Yeah, but William, your country debt were wiped out.
Okay. Yes.
If you want to compare it, our debt was
wiped out.
And basically,
but
and the IMF has come to Liberia and rescued Liberia numerous times. And I just feel is this is my opinion, the will for us to do it. I don't think we see the will for us to do it. And then another thing that I envision in Liberia is everybody wants somebody to give them something for doing something or nothing. Like a scenario that I had in Liberia, right? I was on Broad Street and I dropped something from my bag, and this kid went and pick up the, I think it was my pin or something, but it was something that dropped from me. This kid picked it up and he held it in his hand. And this is if it was another place, that kid was just going to give me, whatever that dropped from my bag. But basically, this kid was like, Brabi, what you got for me? Right? So I think the difference is in Liberia, everybody is looking, because of what we went through, and the resources are being kept in a cocoon by a specific, a particular group of people, and it hasn't been distributed across the country. So everybody, and I just think, and it's with the government too. The government is saying, what money can we just get right now? So I think everybody is looking out for the now in our country.
Yeah, but once again, right, to this thing, and I want us to narrow in and key in on this point, okay?
Yeah.
Yes, Argentina is in the water drowning, and we are in the water drowning, okay? Fair. How is it that you're gonna send me a kino and then you're gonna send a cruise ship for the same person? Right? You're gonna send me a boat. You're gonna send me a boat with holes in it. So yes, they did forgive. They forgive past debt. Okay, put it to you this way: if I don't have no cash and you forgive my past debt, do you leave me better off versus the person who you come in? I have debt, but you give me 5 times, 10 times the amount of debt, and you give it to me. Of course, I'm going to be much better off. And so what I'm saying is that, yes, to your point, we have the ability, and that's what I'm saying, our Liberians, are we giving our Liberia a fair chance right now by not asking or demanding or requiring, right, that, hey, we want investors bond dollars. Those are the kind of dollars we want, because other countries are doing it. Now this $57 billion that I said, right? This $57 billion, that was 1 year, 2018. In 1 year, Argentina, they received that money and they defaulted on it.
Okay.
1 year.
So
1 year.
William, in
Yes.
essence, are you saying that the IMF is biased towards Ghana? I mean, Argentina, what they are doing for Argentina, they're not doing it for Liberia, and you want to know why, and you're putting the blame on the citizens that maybe we are not demanding these things?
Thank you. What I'm saying is that until we rise up and say that, hey, I want some of that too. That right there that's going on, that's the game I want to be in, because that gives me economic freedom, and that puts me in a place where I can move and like shake. Because everything else that you give me, when you have IMF come to say they're going to do debt forgiveness and all those different things, right?
William,
so what's the leverage? What's the leverage that Argentina has?
Yes.
William, newsflash for you. Okay?
Yeah.
The word is all about interest.
Right.
Every country, every IMF, you said the amount of money that they gave you is based on interest. Okay? Argentina is a large nation in South America, right? And they have influence, right? When it comes to Colombia, to Cuba, that Venezuela, there's a lot of interest and power that Argentina has in that region. So again,
I agree big time. Big time. But 57 billion, 57 billion, right? All I'm asking for Liberia is, can we do 1 billion? Is that wait, 1 billion?
What's the interest?
1 billion cash.
What's the interest
bond?
That Liberia? What's the interest? What interest that Liberia has right now to give to the IMF? Or to, because when they say IMF, right? Basically, you're talking about USA.
Right.
Yeah, let's just put it that way. You're talking about the United States.
But you see,
basically, most of these things are not only based on economics. Politics plays a huge role in it.
Thank you. But Sando, do you hear how Liberians we are thinking right now? Think about it. I said let's access the bond market, the Euro bond market, and the U.S. bond market. I said, let's access that market, right? Do you know what you just said? Hold on. I know you didn't hear yourself right now, but this is what you just said. Let's go ask Big Brother IMF if it's okay. That's what you just said.
No, that's what you
said. No. What I'm saying is that Ghana didn't wait and say, let's go ask IMF.
But Ghana has industries. Ghana has resources. Ghana has the backing.
Yes.
Right? They got the investment. I mean, Ghana producing, Liberia buying zinc from Ghana. They're buying pots and pans from Ghana. They're buying a lot of stuff from Ghana, right? Liberia the backing. The thing
but
is,
let's talk about what Liberia has right now. That is moving. I'm just going to talk about what is moving now. Right? And what I mean by what is moving, meaning we are generating some kind of profit. Okay? Okay. Agriculture. We're doing good. We're doing good with agriculture.
How much you exporting?
I can't look at the numbers right now, but when we look at
the region, in comparison to the region, agri products, Liberia is 0.01 to the region.
But it's something. Something. That's what I'm saying. Is that?
Yeah. But what I'm saying, William, again, nobody coming to help you.
No.
Nobody.
But we don't need. And that's what I'm saying. Is that these things, right? Ghana, before they get all this capital infusion, right? Before they have all this capital infusion, they were producing and they were working on significant less. This capital helps them do more. Right? So as far as for us, we have when I say profit, we have a profit-making industry in terms of agriculture, in terms of mining. It's not as much, it's not a whole lot, but we have some. And if we have more money, we could then do and produce and grow more fields. There are a lot of fields in Liberia that are not being utilized. And when you talk to folks, they have lack of funding.
Exactly.
Right.
Are the money?
Thank you.
Are the money that are being given through aid to those sectors? Are they being used?
Sando, hold on there. In our people, ladies and gentlemen, if you are just joining us, this is Focus on Liberia. We are on the Business and Economic Forum, and this is in continuation on our topic on investment. We are looking at the question: has Liberia been given a fair chance for economic growth by Liberians and also the international community? And the two countries we're going to use as case study for our comparative analysis will be Ghana and Argentina. If you want to join the conversation, please call the number 605-313-6004. The code is 791403. Mansfield Dropo is making some comments here. He said, Dennis, you are not at your best tonight. I'm gone to bed. He also said that the section, what you are saying is factually inaccurate. Nobody comes with an investment and is told how and where to put their money. I want to also respond to him, but he said he's going to bed. He said, you guys let these folks spew stuff and you don't hold them to what they're saying. He's kind of giving it to us. So I wanted him to be back so that you can. He also.
Okay, 1 second. What's up, buddy? What do you want? I have a call. What do you want? You want something to eat? You can sit down next to Daddy.
Okay. He said.
Dennis, 1 second. 1 second. Want some juice?
He said, did Western Europe lose its sovereignty when America financed its reconstruction after the Second World War? What is he smoking? He's talking about my guest. Your response to Mansfield Dropo, who is kind of mad with us tonight.
No, they didn't. And the reason why they didn't is because they tell Mansfield that the Europeans use the funds appropriately. So it encouraged more investors, right? Even the private sector to go into Europe. The question for us is, are we Liberians investing what we receive through aid appropriately, right? Because the thing is, if we are appropriately investing and we building the sectors that the funds are allocated for, guess what? Private investors will come to buffer, and there will be a lot of public partner private relationships, and it leads exactly to what William is saying. And William, I understand what you're saying, but again, it comes back to us. We have to be willing to take the bull by the horn, right? And let things happen. And again, let me just, again, this is my opinion. If I was the president of Liberia, I know around the world we have a lot, we have Liberians with money. We have Liberians with money. But even Liberians with money are not just coming to Liberia to invest because they are Liberians. Okay? The environment has to be created. Liberia has to be ready, right? And systems have to be in place. Accountability has to be in place before these things happen. Okay? If I was president for Liberia, I was going to my first agenda will be putting a task force together to actually search for all the respectable Liberians in the diaspora and in Liberia that got money. And basically, we will do a forum, we will get them together, and we will look for the projects in the sectors that they, Liberians, will be able to support for returns, right? First.
Right.
First, before I even start looking for aid. And we got it. Agriculture, mining. Someone, Dennis, you are from Riverside area, right?
No.
Is that where you're from?
No, I'm from
Where you from?
Sando.
Sando area, Sando Riverside. But someone told me, I don't know how true it is, but someone told me that I think in Riverside, like a whole village or something is sitting on like a gold belt that hasn't been touched. And I saw something on Facebook one time talking about that. I mean, we have the natural resources. One that they do not have natural resources, but all they're doing is customer relations management, getting people to come to invest. No resource, they have nothing, but we are blessed with everything. It's just us having the desire and that vision for us to say, you know what, Liberia needs to take an inventory of all the natural resources they have. Let's get together and calculate based on the reserve how much Liberia think they will be able to make if they actually put all these things through really processes.
Sando,
take that inventory.
So to your point, right? This is what other nations are doing. They are like, you just look at Ghana, because I really want to stick in something limited, in a very limited space, right?
Yeah.
Despite what IMF is saying, despite yay or nay and different things like that, they've looked at their resources and everything, and they've gone out and they say, hey, listen, we have this amount of resources, these things, right? What we want to do is that we need cash. We need cash because we want to do other things with it. And even the U.S. does it, because when the U.S. goes to borrow money, it's based on the strength, the ability, what the U.S. has. Now, in the U.S., they have service industries, they have a lot of different things going, so they borrow based on that. They play to their strength. So you are correct in that we have that ability. Now, in terms of having the wealthy Liberians and different things like that coming, I think, yes, we need to have something where we give them the option of if they would like to invest, yes, let them come, let them invest. To that gentleman that was speaking, that said that investors dictate the terms and everything, I just want to answer him because this is something that has been going on for a long time. Here's what I'm really saying. Chevron, BP, Total, all of these companies, they're not the capital markets. These are companies that will come into your country and they want to provide a service and they want to get paid for that service. They're not investors. There are companies like Caterpillar. Caterpillar is not an investor. They come to your country, they want to provide a service or a product. We keep going to these kind of companies, and when they come, they have a very specific defined parameter in which they can work in. So NoCal got the $50 million from Chevron, and NoCal took that and they worked on the, it was very geared, very specific to us what it could be used for. What we're talking about is, I want us Liberians to say that we want to be in the driver's seat. We want to be in a seat that we can decide if we want Total, Chevron, BP to come in to do what they want to do. When we're in the driver's seat, that means we can build contracts that says that, hey, you have to hire 30% Liberians, 50% Liberians. We can be in the driver's seat. But the minute we go and we ask for aid or grants, we're not in the driver's seat for how that money is utilized. And for over 30, 40 years, 50 years, we cannot change the way aid and grant has been administered. We can't change that. What we keep mistaking is that we want access to the bond market. We want access to the capital market, because that is where now we get in the driver's seat. And as bad as some people may assume our economy is, or as worse as some people may assume that we are corrupt and so forth, what I'm saying is that if we look at Argentina, as bad as they are, they're still getting more money. And we are in West Africa, we are considered to be the stability country, that if we become unstable, everywhere else becomes unstable. If certain things doesn't work in Liberia, it disrupts some of the other countries and nations around it. So yes, we may not have the $57 billion pull that Argentina has, but maybe we have a $2 billion pull. Maybe we have a $3 billion pull because the money is there. And just so you know, one more point. Right now, what's happening globally is that pension funds, they are seeking alpha. What is alpha? Meaning they're seeking a return for the investors' dollars. They're seeking return for investors' dollars, and they're going out looking into alternative assets. Alternative assets are some of the things we just mentioned. Riskier investments.
I'll see if you want some.
No. Riskier investments and so forth, and they're putting money in it. And this is a $1 trillion market. So we're not asking for a lot. We just want half a billion, or 2 billion. And we can do it. We can do it.
Thank you. Let me bring in a caller to join the discussion.
Yes.
Know your name and where you're calling from? Hello, caller. All right. let's go back to the discussion until we can have the color. The big question is, and Sando, you are connected to the show twice. I don't know if that's any reason.
Oh, I think
Dennis, you're on live, right? We live on Facebook, right?
Yeah. So the question is Liberian getting a fair chance by, for economic growth by Liberians and the international community? William, I want you to take your first job at that question.
Me?
Yes, you.
Yeah, I would say, no, we're not giving ourselves a fair chance. I think that we never compare our countries to another country. Comparative analysis is something that we can do a better job of. Ghana, Argentina, like I said, if you look at the amount of corruption, if you look at the amount of disrespect, if you look at the amount of just things that's going on in that country, you will say, hey, you know what, man, I thought Liberia were worse, but hey, you know what? I think we should be in this game, and I think I need to speak better about my country and the investment opportunities and different things that is available there. On top of that, there was a survey that was done a while back, maybe 2 years or something, that said that Liberians are one of the top 3 African immigrants, hardworking people out here. So we do a lot. We send a lot of money, over $300 million back home. We are an economic force to be reckoned with, but we're not a fist. We are fingers spread out. And once we become a fist, we will give our country the fair chance. And it's not the government, it's us. Thank you.
And what do we do? Sando, you got to join with device audio so the microphone can get on right now. You're not connected.
Oh, Sando, you're not connected. I will steal your limelight.
I'm good now?
Okay, yeah. So now you say we're not giving our fair chance. What can we do? Because most of the time the emphasis is on government, but you are shifting it to, you are saying we, meaning me and you, people in Liberia and everywhere else. Expound more on that, William.
Basically, what I mean is that we have the ability to form an investment group, an investment company. And I think that's something that I'm working on that with my good partner. He's now on the phone, Mr. Chuchu Jones, Alex Chuchu Jones. And just coming in and looking at a innovative way to Liberia to really invest, meaning coming in from that side, investment pools. So that way we can mobilize our economy, looking at businesses and things that are happening that are doing well, and they just need capital to continue to improve and do a lot better. And I think that's a good start. And another one is to just continue to encourage whichever government is in power that, hey, guys, there's this bond market here. What are you guys doing? Come and take a look. There's something here. We can do it.
Thank you. Just being joined by our West African correspondent, Mr. Edward Amra. Edward, welcome to Focus on Liberia.
Thank you, Dennis. Good evening, everyone, and good evening, Mr.
Good evening, Edward.
Thank you.
Yeah, how are you?
Let me go back to the phone line. Caller, are you there? Oh, sorry, it's my fault. Caller, are you there?
Can you hear me?
Yes, please go on.
Here. Can you
Your
hear me?
name and where you calling from?
Okay. This Monu calling from Las Vegas, and I'm really enjoying the conversation. I'm enjoying the conversation. But let me just say this: with regards to what Mr. King was saying about bonds, ideally that sounds like a pretty good, sort of a big ticket idea. But to get into the bond market, Liberia, the first thing we need to do in Liberia, first of all, we need to set up institutions, and one of the main institutions will be the judiciary that's impartial, that respects contract rights. Because if I'm an investor in Liberia and I have a problem say with my Liberian counterpart, and I take it to the courts, I want my case to be judged impartially. So that's one thing we need to do. We need to focus on institutions in Liberia. The institutions are very, very weak. You want people to bring money, you got to have your institutions ready. And right now, we don't have that. We have a very strong executive. We've got a very weak legislature. The judiciary is kind of like spotty, So yeah, and that's one thing. You talk about bond market. That's a smart idea. But where are your institutions to back all these things? That we don't have. Another thing is we have to start every problem we have in Liberia has been solved somewhere else on this planet. Let's realize that. Every problem that we have in Liberia has been solved somewhere else. Like, for instance, when we hit Liberia, people complain about trash. There are some other places, they look at the trash, they extract opportunities from those from the trash. Trash turn into electricity. Trash turn into methane gas. When we start thinking like that and start, these little small way of thinking, that's when development will come to Liberia.
When we start thinking like that, who are you talking about? Who makes the we?
The we is big. I'm on you, like you, my roots in Sando County, but I grew up in Monrovia. And the president of Liberia, everybody, Liberians, from the government down to the market person,
Okay.
The wheeler market person. And we are small thinking people. We think very, very small.
You're right.
The last time I called, I think I related that 75% of our economy is being run by foreigners, while in Nigeria, 25% of their economy is being, foreign dominated, because we always see the glass half empty. That's the Liberian. That's our way of, that's our observation.
Thank you.
And we don't have this culture of entrepreneurship. That's never been part and parcel of the Liberian tradition. It's not in our DNA. We prefer people coming in, running things, and then we do the political side. They take care of the business side. We take care of the political side. We don't even have our own money. People extract U.S. dollars, they put it on a plane, and they get and they ship it. We've got no control over the U.S. dollars. So it's we've got a lot of problems. It's nice to I like what you're doing. At least you're starting a conversation where you have some bright Liberians like Mr. Karneh, Mr. King, Mr. Jones, to come together and discuss it. And I just wish that this platform could be, it could be a national thing where we have seminars, where we brainstorming seminars, where we all get together and brainstorm. Because we've been saying this thing over and over and over. 20, 30, 40, 50 years. It's been the same conversation. We've got the ocean.
Thank you, Moyo.
We've got the largest virgin forest. We've got the largest virgin forest in West Africa. We've got one of the largest ocean fronts in West Africa. We don't know, since Steve Tauber started Mesbrado that hired tens of thousands of people when he died, that business just, it just fizzled. So those are the sort of things. How can we recapture some of our past glory? Like I mentioned, Mesbrado, that sort of stuff. Park of Peace, where Liberians were in the printing business. Where there was competition between the various counties in terms of agriculture.
Thank you, Moyo. Those are all brilliant ideas. And as we said the last time, please give us a call. You know, let's kind of hang heads and see how we can move this thing forward. Because as you said, we've been talking for some time now. And on
Yeah,
that,
Dennis.
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Okay,
Thank you.
Sando, go ahead.
Yeah. So, William, great idea. I know we talk about the market in length the other time with you and Alex. But again, one major thing, the question I got for you though, will Liberians who resides in Liberia be participating in our market?
Hopefully.
Yes.
Okay, but let me tell you now though. Let me tell you right now. No Liberian who lives in Liberia presently can open or invest in the U.S. market, the U.S. stock exchange market right now. You know that, right?
Yes.
No Liberian can do that.
Yes.
So again, the last caller talked about system. Instead of our Congress, House, and Senate, and the government tries to get Liberia off the OFAC list, right, as a country, so that Liberians in Liberia can be able to invest on the stock market here, in the bond market here. We are not concentrating on that, right?
Sando, you mentioned something about getting the Liberians. What is that?
So Liberia, since the war, Liberia has been on a restrictive list. Okay. So if you are a resident in Liberia, you cannot open an account, for example, with my company to invest in the Liberian stock market. You can't do that, right? But if Ghanaians can do that, Nigerians can do that. I went to Liberia. One of my friends works directly with the governor, and I was telling him, I was like, man, Liberians in Liberia got money, and they can invest, because to invest in the stock market, you don't need millions and millions of dollars to even get into the stock market to kind of get a feel of what real investment and what moves the world right now is Wall Street.
Thank you, Sando. Let me go to my West African correspondent who just joined us to just talk to us briefly and give us the news roundup from the motherland. Mr. Amara, who's joining us from Freetown.
Oh, thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. I was just listening to some of the analysis and major contributions of your listeners, or our listeners, if I can say so. I think in West Africa, Sierra Leone, where I'm staying, and Liberia, very close. That is my motherland. We are really having challenges when it comes to economic affairs. And most of the time, I think we rely on the government. I'm just praying, hoping, and wishing to see that the private sector takes a major role in trying to stabilize the economic system of this country. However, the private sectors cannot take a major role in this session. Government will not try to create a policy, because that should be the platform. Government should initiate or should make certain initiatives that can really attract these private sectors, ensure that when they can come, they are secure, and that is security, and they can be well assured that no major policy will be made that can actually deter their success. So far, so good. Most of the countries that have developed or are developing or even in advanced stages in Liberia, so I don't know, some of the West African countries, development first started with the government, because there must be a free capitalist state where people are allowed to have their own personal initiative and go on doing certain things. And we're just hoping and praying that things like that should come. Coming down to Africa, a lot of major things actually happen. I managed to get some interesting stories that I think that they're actually worth sharing, and they can also.
Your voice is in and out.
My voice is in and out. I think it's the network.
Okay.
Are you getting me now?
Yeah.
Yeah, I said I managed to get some major stories that are actually of interest to Africa. Let's start first in the eastern part of Africa, Kenya. Kenya today we saw flooding taking place over the suburb part of the area. Most, in Africa, there are certain times people decided to flood the city. They may be there engaged. The city will be congested, and most of these people will be living in places that are not really up of living. So there was a major flooding in the northern part of Kenya, and most people were actually lost their lives. Some houses and property were destroyed. Children and some of the women are actually camp around these schools, and others are in the churches that are in the northern part of Nairobi for rescue. And they're hoping and praying that uh, RSC, International Rescue Committee, and other people will definitely intervene. But the situation look appalling. The president visited there, President Uhuru Kenyatta. He promised them to actually give help and ensure that they are evacuated from the area. And definitely, they are saying they are going to ensure that those people leave that particular region, because where they are staying now, it's not actually good for any human habitat. And in Somalia is also, we have a lot of Somalians who are actually living in Ethiopia. And Ethiopia is very close to Somalia. When we are seen on several occasions, Ethiopia involved into Somalian politics. So the Somalian community is a very big community in Ethiopia. So the Somalians are actually demanding from the government of Ethiopia that at least they should make the Somalian language to be one of the official language in Ethiopia, since they have around 6% of the total population in Ethiopia. With the 6% of the population in Ethiopia, they said at least they shouldn't, the language of Somalia, or the Somali should not only be recognized in Somalia, but also it should also be given the opportunity for them to have the Somalian language recognized officially in Ethiopia. But they are yet to do that negotiation. Then in Zimbabwe is in the southern part of Africa. We all know the late President Mugabe struggled with the country, left power. And Emerson Mnangagwa, popularly known as the crocodile, who probably masterminded the overthrow of Robert Gabriel Mugabe, has embarked on serious changes of the street names, some of the major parks, and certain towns within the country. What they are claiming is that most of those streets are still named after colonial masters. So even though the colonial masters are no longer within Zimbabwe, but they are still being mentally colonized, since most of these countries, they are being named, or most of the places, towns, major parks, streets are named after their colonial masters. So I've definitely embarked to changing those names to name them with typical Zimbabwean name, to ensure that people are not only physically free, but let them also be mentally free. And another the interesting story in Ethiopia, the Prime Minister Ahmed Abiy Mohamed is deciding to actually amalgamate the country and form one national unity party. To me, it could be like something like any one party system. But he wants to do it to ensure that, because Ethiopia is a deeply ethnic divided country. They have the Aroma and the Amhari region, and also the Somalia, major other tribes in the country. So when it comes to politics in affairs, the ethnic factor plays major role into it. So what they are deciding, they want to form one national party where all ethnic groups will be involved to ensure that nobody feels divided into the country. And the Prime Minister is actually on verge of doing that. Then finally, in the southern part of Africa again, we have Renamo. Most of the Renamo dissidents have been arrested in the capital city, Gaborone, because most of those Renamo actually went against the election that was held the few times ago, claiming that the ruling Frelimo party never won the election. So they became a kind of dissident force. They forced some type of trouble against the government. So a few days ago, the government lay hold on them, and they are trying to drag them to court to ensure that they try to deceive anything. But thank God, Africa, we have been used to such things. This time there is an election. When one party loses, they cry foul. So far, so good. These are some of the major stories that are actually developing in Africa. I'm sorry because of the network today.
Sure. It's always a pleasure to have you, Mr. Amara, and giving us the rundown from our beloved Africa. Thank you so much. And how is it there in Freetown?
Well, Freetown is not too bad. The only thing, we also are having certain political fever, high fever, because this government took over from a kind of wreck economic background, and they're really trying to ensure that they come with certain changes. But in doing so, what they are doing, they are implementing the austerity measure, and the government actually used the education fee to ensure that they gain the votes they wanted by then to win the election. And we are seeing teachers are actually not happy with the type of package. A few days ago, the 2020 budget was read in Parliament, and 30% of that budget was actually added on the teacher's salary. But the teachers actually were expecting for their salary to be to what? They wanted an increment of 100%. Unfortunately, it was only 30% that were added. And out of 30% that was added again, it will only take effect on April 2020, in the month of April 2020, before ever it take effect. So the teachers are still feeling that power. Then unfortunately, again, the government is facing serious challenge with the tertiary institution. There are certain allowances and all our bonuses that the government actually promised to add to these universities, lecturers, and all our tertiary institutions. Unfortunately, the government has paid deaf ear to such things. So they are actually aggrieved, and by Monday, they actually gave an ultimatum to the government the last about 2 weeks ago, and that ultimatum will definitely expire on Monday. So people like us who are definitely in college trying to read our final year and sit our comprehensive exam to quit, it is unfortunate that the universities and other tertiary institutions are set to go on strike on Monday, and the government is to call on the registrars and other people within the lecture zone. So they are embarking on strike on Monday, and that is a serious challenge for now with the government. They have not been able to amicably how to satisfy the education fee, and they are feeling like that they actually use them to come to power. Unfortunately, they have been given deaf ears when it comes to their salary, other bonuses, and even other security and protection in the type of working in their working zones.
Thank you so much. Thank you, and all the best, man.
Thanks, Edward.
Yeah.
Send me that shirt. Send me that shirt.
I will send it through. Don't worry, you will get it. I hope you get it.
And if you are
thank you, brother.
Joining us, this is Focus on Liberia. We are on the Business and Economic Forum. The person you just heard is Focus on Liberia's West Africa correspondent, Mr. Edward Amara. Yeah. He's doing excellently well for us and giving us the news update, and also adding his knowledge, his expertise, and to the discussion. Every time it is very, very refreshing. Liberia and Sierra Leone, we have two presidents almost at the same time. Both countries went through war, and there's always a comparison between the two. And Edward is able to always give us that breakdown. So, gentlemen, let's conclude this thing.
Yeah.
If you have let's wrap it up. Let me send it back to you, William, so that we can wrap this up.
Okay. I think essentially what we're really trying to say here is that Liberia, we should aspire for options. We should aspire for options. According to what Sando said, one of the things that's just crazy is that we still don't have those kind of access to certain markets. And I just wonder for us Liberians, how do we feel? Because we contribute to WhatsApp, we contribute to Facebook, we contribute to Apple, we contribute to Microsoft. Yet we have no way of investing and buying into their shares. So it's about, and to what the gentleman said on the caller, he is absolutely correct. There are some things that needs to be put in place, but let's work on getting those things in places so that Liberians have the option. It is true, not all Liberians will want to invest in a bond or maybe invest in Liberia, but the ones who would like to, how about we give them that option? And so this economic forum is about looking at Liberians and saying, hey, you have a voice. It's a very important voice. And more importantly, it's not about digging into your pockets. It's about bringing you more options, because we believe that if there are economic options, then you'll feel at peace, whether you decide to do so or not. And we're not there yet. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr.
All right. For me, I want to share my screen because I just want to leave the audience with this visual. So
Good.
Just let me know if you can see my screen.
Not yet.
You can see my screen?
Yep.
All right, so the first column here is Liberia, right? And this is the region. This third column, this last column is the world, right? Yeah. So for me, so you look at Liberian balance, account balance. This is actually the sum of net exports of goods and services, net primary income, and net secondary income. Liberia is negative 566 million in comparing to the region of Africa. So almost the same as the whole of Africa. So just look at that big picture. All right. And then the other place that I want for us to look at is look at the export and import disparity. Africa exporting 7.3 billion, right? We just doing 490 million, but look, Africa is importing 7.8 billion. We are importing 1.1 billion. Hmm. So, and this is from USAID, right? So that has to change before we can talk about Liberia's economy moving, right? So even right now, the rate going up, everything that's happening in Liberia right now is based off this. We are not aligned. We have no energy, look, for energy import, nothing. Look at foreign direct investment, 672 million. Liberia just bringing in 122 million. So we are not there. We are not there.
How do we get there?
Again, how do we get there? We have to take the responsibility. First, again, Africa, it has to be. Africa cannot go. The government has to get involved. The government have to do some sacrificing, right? The people have to do some sacrificing. Liberians have to get together. Collaboration is key, or else the Liberian, the Lebanese, the Indians, the Fula, they will always rule the economy, because what? They are the ones giving money to the government for the government to pay their employees. If Liberians are not about 30% tax-paying body of Liberia, you can't tell the government nothing. The Lebanese, the Indian people, they will always rule that country. Hmm. So I'm just going to leave with that. Collaboration is the key. You get $10,000. If 10 persons put $10,000 together, that's 100,000. You take $100,000 and put it in a bank in Liberia, and you go and tell that bank, I need $75,000 loan. The bank cannot refuse. If you take 100,000, 10 Liberians, you got 1 million. If you put it in the bank and you go to the bank and say, you know what, I need $500,000 right now, the bank will not refuse to give you 500,000 because they have the 1 million sitting there. So let's leave this mindset of widow market, right? Let's leave this mindset of widow market and have the mindset of creating conglomerates. We need to be like Maserati group of companies. If we don't get there, I'm sorry, but investors not coming.
Thank you.
I'll just leave with that.
Thank you. And ladies and gentlemen, guys, I want to thank you so much for your time. It's been a wonderful discussion. I want to thank all our guests, our viewers from Facebook, all those who call in, those who contributed questions. Again, the Business and Economic Forum is for everybody. Focus on Liberia is for everybody. So if your background is in business, it's in finance, it's in accounting, it's in economics, give us a call and be part of it. If there are other topics to talk about, please feel free to drop us a line and bring about the discussion, and we're going to jump into it. Until then, let me end with our man from Bon County. Brother David said, God is never going to disappoint you.
Hey.
So in spite of our circumstances,
Dennis, that Facebook Live, I wasn't seeing it. I wasn't seeing the Facebook Live.
until then, my name is Dennis Jah, wishing you all a pleasant weekend. Good night.